we have also seen the Genius Act, that act that is supposed to regulate stablecoins, that has passed first Congress and then Senate, and now, sorry, it's back to Congress. And that act will completely change the way stablecoin, like the place of stablecoin in the industry, right?
I think so. It's good for businesses personally, meaning that like banks. It's good for banks and entities in fintech. It gives a little bit better regulatory clarity. It defines who can issue stable coins. It defines, or at least it's working towards, how reserves are managed and how they're required. It puts up rules and guidelines for how things should be presented and what can happen if somebody is unethical about those kinds of things. So it's not a CBDC. It's in the middle, I think, in a way, of a CBDC. It is still a stable coin, but at least it's open for others to issue their own stable coins as long as they, which are centralized anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's centralization. There is potential of censorship. It is gated participation, but it gives those banks and subsidiaries and non-banks the ability to issue that, which makes it easier for us. The problem that I would ask, even though I think this is good for those entities, if I own a stable coin on one bank, can I send it to my other bank, or do they have their own stable coin? And do we not get in the situation of 14 different tethers? That's the thing I'm thinking. If I have to worry about what my bank is building its stable coin on, is it using a decentralized blockchain, or is it using a private blockchain? And is it Polygon, or is it ETH? Is it Cosmos? Is it Avalanche? Is it, it's like, I don't know. I think that's.
I think the idea is that it's going to be like Coinbase, right? Like, well, although those are separating by chain, I think banks don't have to offer that part to the user. I think the offer to the user is just, I have 100 tether, and they'll deal with what chain it's on, because it's not once it's in the bank, it's not yours. I gotta tell you, with the Genius Act, the incarnation, as I understand it right now, is how government can be helpful in freeing up a coin and providing teeth for bad actors like this. That, like, in a perfect world, that's what the government is actually for.
Yeah.
I don't think I have zero trust that this won't end up being a CBDC. And the reason is, I think we saw it with social media, where the government absolutely went into the platforms and said, hey, we want this information. Hey, don't promote these tweets. Like, completely affected how the social media was presented to the users. And I think, like, this part, the way it is right now, but then, like, either in this, I don't trust any administration, either this administration or the next, there will be another Genius Act that puts in monitoring clauses into the smart contracts, reporting clauses into the smart contracts, and then another one where they put in the ability to freeze the asset or remove the asset out of a wallet. Like I don't see anything positive about any of this, frankly. I think all of it it's pretty like when it comes in the front, because how can it not be? But then it's just going to be boiling frog. It's going to be, we're just adding this little thing because, we need to monitor where the funds go. And it's going to be this little thing because we want to stop terrorists from having USDT. Like, it's going to be this slow degradation, and then regulated stable coins are going to be indistinguishable from CBDCs.
Well,
yeah, I think it's the same kind of conversation we had on other regulation. It always has two sides. And I mean, one side is that obviously it gives clarities, guarantees that before they weren't having, right? So obviously that would be better for scam coins. But at the end of the day, it also centralizes completely the control, the authority over that. You were saying that they will be required to freeze. It is already in there. If the government asks for a freeze, like, they have to freeze it. So it's already there. There is obviously absolutely no mention of blockchain in all that, right? So
it excludes open source blockchains
yes,
and
exactly.
decentralized
So
stablecoins.
in
So
fact,
it's a negative, yeah.
we have already seen that many banks already mentioned that they will create their own stablecoin, and I think this will be what will happen, right? Like the fear that you just mentioned before.
Well, then these
like
are
I think it will happen.
No, then that's what these are. Let's
well,
not
it's
pretend
not
these are
one
stable
central
coins.
bank, though. It is many banks can issue many currencies, which is why I was stressing that if one region of the United States, all the banks get together and they issue their own, how does that affect another region? Or does everybody all have to agree that they accept one currency right now or one protocol? Right now, it looks like it's open for anyone to issue their own. And if it's anyone can issue their own, are we not getting to the same situation the way we were 150 years ago, where we had banks who had their own currencies, and then
you guys just made me a complete opponent to the Genius Act, because if they're if the only difference is it's not central bank and it's multi-bank, like if that's the only difference, like that's stupid. That's not the fear of CBDCs. The fear is not controlling your funds. That's why we don't like those. If it's multiple banks and it does the exact same thing, then all we've done is created CBDCs with a cloak over it that says it's multi-bank. That's the only difference.
I think that's the only thing we can read into this now.
So it's not necessarily banks, right? But I think it is exactly what you're saying, and this is also what some people are saying, right? That but the problem is, once you give the central authority to the government over stablecoin issuers, this is what happens, right?
Yeah.
Like those stablecoin issuers, they don't have, like, they need to be authorized to be a stablecoin issuer, right?
That's correct.
So now, because of that, it makes that the government decides who does it, and so I think that it is not CBDC with a central authority, but it's kind of distributed CBDC.